Hello. For the subject business laws and regulations, the first topic is the law on partnerships. So, while the law on partnerships covers a lot of topics, this lecture is for the purpose of simplifying it for accountancy students. The contents of this lecture is in accordance with the syllabus for the licensure examination for certified public accountants. So the law on partnerships can be found in Article 1767 to 1867 of the Civil Code of the Philippines, or the Republic Act 386, which was made effective on August 30, 1950. Now, if you can see, the law on partnership is part of Book 4 of the Civil Code, which starts with obligations and contracts. So the law on partnership is a continuation of that topic on obligations and contracts. So under the Civil Code, partnership is established by a contract where two or more persons bind themselves to contribute money, property, or industry to a common fund with the primary intention of dividing the profits among themselves. So partnership is a contract. That is why the laws on obligations and contracts is also applicable to a partnership, since partnership is also a contract. If you can still remember your obligations and contract, uh, a contract has three elements: consent, object, and cause. So those elements are also present in the contract of partnership. And another is, I would like to emphasize that this contract requires the contribution of money, property, or industry to a common fund. So, what are the things that can be contributed to a partnership? Number one is money, pera, property, or industry. So, what is industry? Industry is about skills, your expertise that you want to contribute to the common fund. For example, if the partnership is a bakery, maybe some partners will contribute their money. Maybe some of the partners will contribute their property, while there are those partners who will contribute their industry, meaning maybe they want to be the baker. So yung expertise nila as a baker, yun ang i-contribute nila po to the common fund. So take note, you can also contribute industry in addition to money and property in the case of a partnership. And what is the intention of the parties for doing such thing? The intention is to earn profits and divide them among themselves. While yung losses is not mentioned in this definition, but it has been held that losses is also part of the intention to divide. Okay, so in case there is a loss, the partners should also divide it among themselves, subject to the rule on industrial partners, which will be discussed later. So a partner may be formed by two or more persons to exercise a profession. So a partnership can also be created for the purpose of exercising your profession. Maybe you are accountants or you are lawyers. You want to form a partnership to exercise your profession, that is also uh, allowed. It is called a professional partnership. Okay, so under the doctrine of delictus personae, the partners has the right to choose with whom they wishes to associate themselves. This is the very foundation and essence of partnership, meaning in partnership, the parties come together because they want to be partners. They choose each other to be partners, so that you cannot force a person to enter into a partnership with others that he does not like. Okay? So under the doctrine of delictus personae, yung partner, he has the power, the freedom, the right to choose kung sino yung magiging partners niya. So that if a partner does not anymore want to be associated with his existing partners, madi-dissolve yung partnership. So in short, the partners can choose kung sino yung magiging partners nila. So the contract of partnership is consensual, meaning it is perfected by mere consent. This is in contrast with yung a real contract wherein delivery is needed in order to perfect the contract. So since a partnership is a consensual contract, so the mere giving of consent by the parties will perfect the contract. The partnership is also a commutative contract, meaning okay, the parties has the obligation to uh, contribute to the common fund. A partnership is also considered a principal contract because the partnership can stand alone. This does not need any other agreement to stand on. So it's a principal contract. The partnership is also bilateral in the sense that uh, the parties have their respective obligations toward each other. The partnership is also onerous because there is a requirement to contribute. A partnership is a nominate contract because the law gives it a name. So nominate siya. And a partnership is a preparatory contract because in entering into partnership, the parties will later on enter into contract with other persons by reason of their partnership. So a fundamental aspect of a partnership is that it possesses a juridical personality that is separate and distinct from that of each individual partner. Meaning, the partnership is considered to be a juridical person. What is a juridical person? A juridical person is also a person, only that it is not a natural person like you and me, but it is a person that is created by fiction of law. So the partnership is considered a person in the eyes of the law. And this person is a different person from the partnership. For example, A and B entered into partnership and they call their partnership AB partnership. So AB partnership is considered a person who is separate from A and B. So in this case, we have three persons now, A as and B as natural persons, while AB partnership is also a person, only that it is a juridical person. It exists because it is created by fiction of law. So this separate juridical personality of a partnership will considered to be existing even if the partners fail to comply with requirements regarding the execution of public instruments and the recording of the partnership in the appropriate government agency. So even if the partners did not comply with the requirements of uh, entering into a written contract na notarized and then have it recorded, even if wala yun, the partnership as a person is considered to be existing. So under the law, for a partnership to be valid, it must have a lawful object or purpose and be established for the common benefit and interest of the partners. Of course, a partnership is invalid if the purpose object is unlawful. So if a partnership is unlawful and it is dissolved by judicial decree or by court order, the profits na na-earn ng partnership will be confiscated in favor of the state. So if unlawful yung partnership, yung profits will be confiscated by the state. So how do we know that there is a partnership? Ito yung rules. Number one, the mere co-ownership or co-possession does not by itself establish a partnership. So if there is a property, it is owned by two persons or possessed by two persons, it does not necessarily mean na partner sila. Maybe they are just co-owners. Okay? They did not enter into a contract to contribute to a common fund with the intention of dividing the profits among themselves. In this case, it just so happen na co-owners sila or co-possessors, which by itself or without contract, kung wala namang kontrata ng partnership, it does not mean na may partnership na kaagad ha pag just co-owners lang sila. Now, another one is the sharing of gross returns does not by itself establish a partnership. So if two or more person nag-share sa gross returns ng isang property, it does not mean na may partnership sila kaagad. Okay? Kung walang kontrata ng partnership, walang partnership. Maybe yung sharing of the returns just because co-owner sila or may utang yung isa sa isa kaya sila nag-share ng gross returns. Pagka ganon, it does not mean that there is already a partnership. Okay? So, the mere fact na nag-share sila ng gross return, it does not necessarily mean na meron silang partnership. But when there is a business and a person shares in the profits, it is considered a prima facie evidence that he or she is a partner. It is a prima facie evidence because the parties can prove by evidence na walang partnership. Pero kapag may business at nag-share sila ng profits, merong understanding na baka meron silang partnership. Pero pwede nila i-disprove by presenting evidence na wala talagang partnership. Okay, however, this inference is not drawn if the profits were received as payment for a debt, wages, rent, annuity, interest, on a loan, or consideration for the sale of goodwill. Okay? So, walang prima facie presumption kung kaya siya nag-share ng profits dahil may utang sa kanya or pangsweldo sa kanya. Okay? Walang partnership nun. Okay? So, kung there is a business, may taong binigyan ng pera dahil yung may-ari may utang, kailangan niya bayaran ng rent or sweldo. Hindi partnership yon. Walang presumption na partnership. May presumption lang na partnership na prima facie if naka-receive siya ng profits from a business. Not necessarily because of a debt, wages, rent, annuity, or interest on a loan or for the sale of goodwill. So, generally, persons who are not partners to each other are not partners as to third persons. Okay? So, kung ang two or more persons, hindi sila partner, with more reason na hindi sila partner in the eyes of other persons. Except only on partnership by estoppel, which will be discussed as we go along. So what is the difference between a partnership and a corporation? As to formation, kung paano na-form, partnership is created by contract or agreement between the parties. So, a partnership will come about because the parties entered into a contract of partnership. While a corporation is created by operation of law. Okay. Certain individuals will file application with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and when it is approved by operation of law, the corporation will be created. Okay, so partnership, the creation is by contract, while the corporation is by operation of law. As to the governing law, the partnership is governed by the civil code, while the corporation is governed by the Revised Corporation Code of the Philippines. So magkaiba sila ng batas. Legal personality, yung juridical personality na na-discuss natin kanina. A partnership is considered a juridical person or a legal person. But the legal personality of a partnership is not as distinct as a corporation, which will be discussed when we go into the Corporation Code of the Philippines. The corporation under the Revised Corporation Code of the Philippines is considered as an artificial being created by law. It is also separate and distinct from its owners, and the juridical personality of of a corporation is more defined than that of a partnership. Because a partnership, and because of the doctrine of delictus personae, kung yung isang partner lang ayaw na niya sa mga partners niya, madi-dissolve yung corporation, mamamatay din yung legal personality. Whereas a corporation na created by law, hindi siya basta-basta mawawala yung artificial being without being dissolved by also by the state through the Securities and Exchange Commission. As to liability, generally, yung partners sa partnership have unlimited liability. Ano ibig sabihin ng unlimited liability? Meaning, if the partnership has liabilities na hindi enough ang properties ng partnership na pambayad, therefore, the partnership will be liable for their personal assets. So, pwede habulin yung kanilang personal properties kapag kakulang ang properties ng partnership. Ang tawag dyan is general liability. But you will learn later on na may mga tinatawag din na limited partner. Si limited partner is not liable sa pareho ng general partner. Si general partner liable siya hanggang sa personal properties niya, pero si limited partner only up to his contribution. But we will discuss that in the subsequent slides. How about a corporation? A corporation is composed of shareholders and they have limited liability, meaning si shareholders, okay, liable lang siya for the liabilities of the corporation only up to the extent kung magkano yung i-invest niya sa corporation. Hindi na pwede habulin yung personal property niya. So meaning, if the corporation has liabilities, kulang yung properties ng corporation na pambayad, hindi pwede habulin ang properties ng shareholders. So as to liability, ang liability ng partner sa partnership is generally is called a general liability. General liability extends up to the personal properties of the partners. In the case of corporation, limited liability lang as shareholders, meaning they're only liable up to the extent of their investment. So as to duration, a partnership can be dissolved upon the death, withdrawal, or insolvency of a partner unless the agreement states otherwise. So, medyo madali ma-dissolve ang partnership. While a corporation has a right of succession. Itong right of succession, the corporation will continue even if the shareholder namatay, umalis, binenta yung share niya, or naging insolvent siya, the corporation will have perpetual existence beyond the lives of its founders and shareholders. Unless nag-register sila sa SEC for a certain number of years only. So in that case, walang perpetual existence. But without that, the corporation is considered to be perpetually existing. And the shareholders can always transfer their shares to other persons without the corporation being dissolved. Sa management, who manages a partnership? The partnership is considered to be managed by all the parties, and all the partners can have the right to participate unless they agree on one partner na maging uh, general partner, a manager, managing partner, I mean. Okay. So if they did not appoint a managing partner, it is considered na all of the partners can manage the partnership. While a corporation is managed by a board of directors, and this board of directors are elected by the shareholders. Transfer of interest. Si partner sa partnership cannot transfer his interest without the consent of all other partners. This is because of the doctrine of delictus personae. Hindi pwede pilitin ang ibang partners na maging partner ang ibang tao. Corporation, ang shares of stock ng isang shareholder can be transferred even without the consent of the other shareholders. Okay, so that's it. So what are the kinds of partnerships? According to object, a partnership can be universal, and it may refer to all properties or all profits. Kaya siya universal because of the word all property or all profits. Okay, in a universal partnership, the partners will contribute all their present properties, or they can agree to share all profits. While a particular partnership has a certain specific undertaking, or it may be an exercise of profession or vocation, or it may only include uh, certain properties but not all. So there are two kinds of universal partnership. One is the universal partnership of all present properties. So partners contribute all their property actually belonging to them to a common fund and dividing the property and all profits acquired therewith. So in a partnership, universal partnership or present property, all properties of the partnership will be contributed to the common fund, and that property and all the profits acquired from them will be shared by the partners. But properties acquired by a partner because of inheritance or a donation, hindi included sa common fund. But yung mga fruits or income ng properties na na-inherit or na-donate will be included in the partnership. So, ano naman itong universal partnership of profits? Okay. From the word profits, it comprises only the sharing of profits. So, the properties possessed by each partner remain to be their properties, hindi na-transfer sa partnership. Ang na-transfer sa partnership is the right to use and enjoy the fruits. Yun lang na-transfer sa partnership. So take note, yung universal partnership of all present property, yung properties will be contributed to the fund. And lahat ng profits and properties will be shared by the partners. While in this universal partnership of profits, yung properties remain to be the property of the partners. I-share lang nila yung magiging profits. Default nature of a partnership. Kung ang articles of universal partnership did not specify kung it is a partnership, a universal partnership of all properties, or it does not specify kung all profits, then the default nature is that it only constitute universal partnership of profits. Okay, take note, if hindi nalagay sa articles ng partnership kung anong klaseng universal partnership sila. Okay, the law says it will only constitute or it will only be considered a universal partnership of profits only. On the restriction, persons prohibited from giving each other any donation or advantage cannot enter into a universal partnership. So under the civil code, yung husband and wife cannot donate to one another. In this case, hindi rin sila pwede mag-enter into a universal partnership of property because they are prohibited from donating or giving advantage to each other. Paano yung hindi nakasal? The roses, yung nag-live-in lang, kasama din sa prohibition. Okay, para hindi maging disadvantage yung pagiging mag-asawa. So, yung husband and wife cannot donate to each other. This includes yung nag-live-in lang. And because of that, they cannot enter into a universal partnership. According to the liability of partners, a partnership may be general partnership. General partnership, as discussed, ang mga partners nila, lahat ng partners are considered general partners, meaning they are liable even beyond their contribution. Pwede habulin ang kanilang separate properties kung kulang ang properties ng partnership na pambayad sa liabilities. While a limited partnership requires that at least one of the partner is a general partner. So, hindi pwede walang general partner, ha? At least isa ang general partner and the rest can be limited partners. So, what does that mean? Yung mga limited partners, hindi pwede habulin yung properties nila na personal in case na kulang ang properties ng partnership na pambayad sa mga utang. But one of them, one or more than one, who are general partners, can be liable even beyond their contribution. Pati yung personal properties nila can be made liable for the partnership liabilities. So according to the duration of the partnership, a partnership is considered a partnership at will if there is no fixed time or term, or the partnership is not formed for any particular undertaking. It is considered a partnership at will. Kung may fixed term naman siya, or meaning may fixed number of days, years, or months, it is considered a partnership with a fixed term. Okay, like for example, partners tayo for 2 years, for 5 years, for 10 years. So it's a partnership with a fixed term. The third one is a partnership for a particular undertaking. Okay, maybe nagpartner tayo for during intrams lang. We will put up a business sa school para for the purpose of engaging into business during the intramurals o particular undertaking lang yun. Okay. And after that, baka ma-dissolve na ang partnership. But a partnership na with a fixed term or a partnership for a particular undertaking, tinuloy pa rin kahit natapos na yung term, kahit natapos na yung particular undertaking, pag tinuloy nila, magiging partnership at will siya. Kasi wala na siyang term at saka wala ng particular undertaking, tinuloy pa rin, then it will be considered a partnership at will. According to the partners representation to third parties, yung partners na nag-contribute ng money, property, or industry to common fund with the intention of dividing the profits among themselves is considered an ordinary partnership. Ito namang partnership by estoppel is when there is no partnership actually. Okay, only that certain individuals represent themselves as partners to other persons and that other person nag-rely sa sinabi niya and nag-cause ng misrepresentation to the detriment and damage of the third person, the law says to protect that third person, yung mga individuals na yun na nag-misrepresent na partnership daw sila, kunwari, will be considered partnership by estoppel. Okay, take note, in a partnership of estoppel, there is no actual partnership. Kaya lang, nag-misrepresent sila that they are partners. Yung third person na nag-rely sa kanilang sinabi, and then na-damage yung third person. Okay, under the law, to protect that third person, the law will consider the partnership of those na nag-misrepresent as a partnership by estoppel. Estoppel meaning hindi na pwede i-deny na wala. According to the legality of its existence, a partnership may be a de jure partnership. Okay, legit. Yung de jure partnership is a legit partnership na it has complied with all the legal requirements of law for the creation of the partnership. While a de facto partnership is one which has complied with all the legal requirements, which has not complied with all the legal requirements for its creation. Ang kaibahan ng de facto partnerships sa partnership by estoppel is that sa de facto partnership, wala namang misrepresentation, walang bad faith, only that hindi na-comply ang lahat ng requirements ng batas for its creation, but the law says, nonetheless, you are still a partnership, but a de facto partnership. Sa partnership by estoppel, may bad faith, may ill intent to damage other persons. Yun ang kaibahan ng de facto partnership sa estoppel, partnership by estoppel. So what are the formalities in the formation of partnerships? Number 1, the partnership may be constituted in any form. So pwede verbal, pwede written. However, there are some rules that mandate the formal documentation in certain situations. So when immovable properties or real rights, immovable properties are real properties like land, building, and then real rights are rights over those land and building and real properties. If those are contributed to a partnership, then it is required that it must be in writing and notarized. So a public instrument is required in that case. Another requirement is that yung immovable properties na na-contribute must be indicated in an inventory of property, and that inventory of property is signed by the parties and attached doon sa public instrument. So, kung nag-contribute ng land or building sa ang partners, dapat nakanotaryo yung document nila, and dapat may papel na nakasulat doon ng mga properties, immovable properties na na-contribute. Then yung inventory na yun, pirmahan ng mga parties, ng partners, and then i-attach doon sa notarized na partnership document. And if the capital of a partnership is 3,000 pesos or more, whether in money or property, the contract is required to appear in a public instrument and recorded in the Securities and Exchange Commission. Paano sir kung hindi naman nila na-comply yung pag-register sa SEC? Partnership pa rin sila pero de facto partnership, not de jure partnership. Ito yun, no? Failure to record this instrument does not affect the liability of the partnership or its members to third persons. So, in the eyes of third persons, partnership pa rin sila. De facto nga lang. Associations or societies whose articles are kept secret among the members and where any member may contract in his own name with third persons do not possess juridical personality na governed by the provisions relating to co-ownership. So kung secret yung associations and societies, it is not considered a partnership and it will not have juridical personality. So ano ang rules sa management of partnership? If a manager is appointed in the articles of partnership, ito yung document na gi-prepare ng partnership na ipanotaryo or pa-record sa SEC, which contains their agreement to form a partnership, ang tawag doon articles. If nakasulat sa articles na may manager sila, yung manager can execute all acts, yung manager na yun na na-appoint sa articles, nakasulat sa articles, may execute all acts of administration even over partner opposition unless acting in bad faith. So, kung yung decision ng manager will prevail over sa partners unless yung manager is in bad faith. So, pwede siya ipa-stop only kung may bad faith. And the power of the manager to manage the partnership, pagka pangalan niya nasa articles, is irrevocable and can only be revoked with just cause or lawful cause. So, pwede lang siya alisin as manager if mayroong just or lawful cause. Kung wala, hindi siya pwede ma-remove. So, revocation of the power of the manager na nakasulat sa articles requires the vote of the partners representing the controlling interest, meaning kailangan ang consent ng partners na mayroong mas malaking contribution sa partnership. If the manager is not appointed in the articles, kundi after na, so let us say may partnership, meron silang articles of partnership, hindi nakasulat doon kung sino ang manager, later na nila na-appoint, pero hindi nasulat sa articles, ito yung rules. The power may be revoked anytime. Okay? Kasi yung kanina, yung partners, yung manager na nasulat sa articles, hindi siya basta-basta maalisan na power. Kung wala namang cause. Pero if wala nasulat doon, later na na-appoint yung manager, yung power niya may be revoked at any time. What if dalawa ang na-appoint na manager? Sino ang, na walang nakaspecify kung ano ang trabaho ng isa, ano din ang trabaho ng kabila. So, each of them, yung mga managers na 2 or more, can execute all acts of administration. Paano kung hindi nagkaintindihan? The opposition by one manager requires the decision of the majority to prevail. Okay, so kung 2 or more sila, kung more than 2 sila, kung majority ng manager ang masunod. In case ba tie, the partners owning the controlling interest will have to decide to break the tie. If there is a stipulation that no manager acts without consent, then in that case, the concurrence of all the partners is necessary for the validity of acts. So kung wala namang nakasulat na manager, lahat sila na partners should decide para maging valid yung acts ng partnership. The absence or disability of one of the partners cannot be alleged unless there is imminent danger of grave or irreparable injury to the partnership. Okay, kung absent ng isang partner, okay lang naman yun basta yung decision will not be imminently dangerous or grave to the gravely injurious to the partnership. Paano kung hindi sila nag-agree kung paano i-manage ang partnership? Then, all of the partners are considered agents and managers. And any single partner's acts binds the partnership. So, lahat sila magiging manager kung walang agreement. And each of them can enter into acts na binding sa partnership. Of course, this is subject to opposition rules under 1801, which will be discussed as we go along. Unless consent is granted, no partner may make any important alteration in the immovable property of the partnership, even if useful, although court intervention may be sought if the refusal or consent is manifestly prejudicial. What does this mean? Kung may immovable property ang partnership, hindi pwede i-alter ng any partner without consent of the others. If need niya talaga gawin, he can ask the court to intervene by filing the appropriate case. Ano yung obligations ng partners? To the partnership? Number one is the duty to contribute kasi the partner promised to contribute either money, property, or industry. So yun ang pinakaunang duty or obligation ng partner sa partnership na ibigay yung kanyang contribution whether it's in money, property, or industry. So what is the liability of a partner for interest and damages? A partner who fails to contribute a promised sum of money is liable for interest and damages from the time of expected compliance. So nag-delay siya ng pag-contribute ng money, pwede siya singilin ng interest or damages if nagkaroon ng damage to the partnership because of his delayed contribution. The same rule will apply if a partner takes money from the partnership coffers and converts it to their own use. So, kung ang isang partner nagkumuha ng pera sa partnership for his own personal use, he is also liable for interest and damages that is caused to the partnership. Warranty and fruits, what is this? The partners are bound to give warranty for eviction to the specific things they contribute and are liable for the fruits of those things from the time they should have been delivered without need of demand. What does that mean? So when a partner contributes things to the partnership, ang sinasabi niya, akin to, i-contribute ko. If it turns out later on na hindi pala sa kanya yon, he will be liable. That is called warranty in case of eviction. How about the fruits? If the property or things na promised to be contributed by a partner, nagkaroon ng fruits, yung fruits na yon should be delivered to the partnership because na-delay siya ng contribute. Yung industrial partner, ang tawag doon sa partner na nag-contribute lang ng industry, hindi naman nag-contribute ng money or property, is called an industrial partner. An industrial partner kasi yung expertise niya, yung skill niya, ang i-contribute niya sa partnership, he cannot engage in business for himself. Kasi mawala yung attention niya at saka yung oras niya sa business ng partnership. He can only engage in business, kahit anong business, if nag-agree ang mga partners. So, if nag-violate ang industrial partner, the violation allows capitalist partners to either exclude him or avail themselves of his profits with a right to damages. So, kapag ka nag-violate siya sa prohibition, can be excluded from the profits and the partners have the right to ask for damages. What is the duty of a capitalist partner? Ito naman si capitalist partner, hindi naman siya nag-contribute ng industry. Ang nag-contribute niya money or property. So yung partner nag-contribute ng money or property is called a capitalist partner. Siya naman, he cannot engage in business na the same kind as the partnership. Anong kaibahan nun? Yung kanina, si industrial partner cannot engage in any business without the consent of the partners. Ito naman si capitalist partners, hindi lang siya pwede mag-engage yung the same business as the partnership. Pwede siya mag-engage in other business basta hindi kapareho na sa partnership. Pwede lang siya mag-engage ng kaparehong business sa partnership if nag-agree ang parties. Why? Kasi magiging sila competitors kung the same business. Pag nag-violate ang isang capitalist partner, nag-engage siya ng the same business as that of the partnership without the consent of the partners, okay, yung profits niya na earn doon will be required to be delivered to the partnership. But if losses happens, siya lang ang mag-bear ng loss. But yung profits dapat dalhin sa partnership. Responsibility of the partners for damages. A partner is responsible for the damages suffered by the partnership through his fault. So if may isang partner na nakag-cause ng damage sa partnership because of his fault, he is liable for damages to the partnership. And hindi pwede i-offset sa profits ng partner na na-earn niya for the partnership by his industry, but the course may lessen this responsibility if unusual profits were realized to the partner's extraordinary efforts. What does this mean? If isang partner, because of his efforts, nagkaroon ng profits ang partnership, and then later on, nag-cause siya ng damage, hindi pwede i-offset yung na-earn niya at saka yung na-cause siya na damage. Pero kung unusual yung profits na na-earn niya, pwede naman siya mag-file ng case sa court na i-lessen yung responsibility niya because of his extraordinary efforts. The duty of the partners to account. Each partner must account to the partnership for any benefit and hold as trustee any profits they derive without consent from the partnership transactions or use of its property. So when properties or profits come into the hands of a partner, he is considered to be a trustee of that, and he has to account that and deliver that to the partnership. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng duty to account. Equal contribution is the default obligation. Diba, partners must contribute money, property, or industry. Kapag walang agreement, it shall be considered to be equal shares. Unless they agree na otherwise. So kapag walang agreement, equal contribution. Kasi kung pwede naman sila mag-agree na 10% sa iyo, yung isa 20, sa akin 70. Okay, pwede sila mag-agree ng ganyan. But if there is no such agreement, it will be considered na equal shares. Additional capital. Pagka ang business ng partnership is in imminent loss, facing imminent loss, okay, a partner can be required to contribute additional capital. If he refuses to contribute, he shall be obliged to sell his interest to the other partners. Bibili na lang ng other partners yung share niya. Okay, in case of insolvency, how is the sharing of the partnership credits? A partner who collects his share of a partnership credit when others have not must bring the received amount back to the partnership capital if the debtor subsequently becomes insolvent. What does this mean? Halimbawa, may isang tao, may utang siya sa partnership, may utang din siya sa isang partner. Kung nabayaran niya yung utang niya sa isang partner, pero hindi niya nabayaran yung utang niya sa partnership, and then later on naging insolvent siya, yung partner na nabayaran, mas yung bayad sa kanya, dapat dalhin niya sa partnership para i-share nila para fair. Kasi unfair if si partner nabayaran, si partnership wala. So, because of the partnership, yung partner na nabayaran must bring that money to the partnership in case the debtor becomes insolvent subsequently. Information. The partners has the obligation to render true and full information of all the things affecting the partnership to any partner upon demand. So as a partner, maging truthful ka about information that affects the partnership to your other partners. Associates, we often hear ng mga associates sa partnerships. Ano itong associates? An associate is not a partner. A partner may associate another person in his share, but his associate cannot be admitted into the partnership without the consent of all partners. Okay, this is again under the doctrine of delectus personae. So, ang partner, pwede naman siya mag-associate with another person. Ang tawag doon sa person, yung associate niya. But that associate cannot be considered a partner if without the consent of all other partners. So what are the obligations of a partners to third persons? Liability for contracts. All partners, including industrial partners, are liable pro rata with all their property after all partnership assets have been exhausted for contracts entered into in the name and for the account of the partnership by an authorized person. So liable ang partners, pati yung si industrial partner ha, even if hindi siya nag-contribute ng money or property. If kulang pambayad ng partnership sa utang, pwede pa rin habulin ang properties ng partner. Except lang if the partner is a limited partner. Any stipulation against this liability is void except as among partners themselves. So, if there is an agreement na hindi liable yung isang general partner, void yon. Valid lang yun sa kanila. So, insofar as the third person is concerned, pwede pa rin kolektahin yung exempted kuno. But, yung nagbayad na sa agreement nila na hindi na liable, dapat maghingi ng reimbursement from the other partners. Agency. Every partner is considered an agent of the partnership for the purpose of conducting the partnership business. An act for apparently carrying on the business in the usual way binds the partnership unless the partner lacks authority and the third person knew this fact. So lahat ng partners is considered an agent of the partnership and lahat ng actions nila can bind the partnership. Unless sa totoong buhay is yung partner talaga is walang authority to act and yung transaction niya alam na wala siyang authority. In that case, hindi liable ang partnership. Kasi even yung third person is guilty. How about unauthorized acts of the partners? Acts that are apparently not for carrying on the business in its usual way will not bind the partnership unless authorized by the other partners. So kung hindi naman business ng partnership yung transaction, it will not bind the partnership unless na-authorize ng partners yung partner na nag-transact. So there are acts that requiring consent of all the partners, such as assigning property of the partnership for creditors, disposing of goodwill, confessing judgment, or submitting a claim to an arbitration. Ano ibig sabihin ito? Kapag nag-transfer ng partnership properties sa creditor, pambayad siguro through dasyon in pago, kailangan ng consent ng lahat ng partners kasi involved na yung property ng partnership. Kung kinasuhan sila at nag-confess sila na may liability sila, dapat yung pag-accept nila ng liability, must require the consent of all the partners. Kung gusto nila mag-arbitration, kung in case of conflict with third persons, dapat din ang consent ng all partners must be acquired or required. How about liability for wrongful acts? The partnership is liable for loss, injury, or penalty caused by any partner in the ordinary course of business or with the authority of co-partners. So liable ang partnership for loss, injury, and penalty caused by any official acts of business of the partnership. So therefore, the partnership is bound to make good losses resulting from a partner's misapplying third-party money received under apparent authority or misapplying money received by the partner while in its custody. So yung partnership is liable kapag nagkaroon sila ng liability to third person dahil yung isang partner nila is naggamit yung pera or misapplied yung pera sa ibang gastusin or sa personal na gamit, the partnership will be liable to that third person. And then, ang liability ng partners will be solidary. So, yung liability ng partners are solidary with the partnership for these wrongful acts. Ano ibig sabihin? Yung third persons na na-damage can ask for the payment from any of the partners kasi liable sila solidarily. Bahala na yung partners mag-reimburse with each other. So, what is the liability of a partner by estoppel? A person who represents himself or consent to be represented as a partner is liable to those who is relying on that representation and extend credit. You can still remember kanina yung partnership by estoppel. Wala talagang partnership pero may mga taong kunwari daw partner sila para maloko yung ibang tao. In that case, yung tao na naloko nila can go after them as a partner by estoppel. Even if wala talagang partnership, the losses parang meron kasi nanloko kayo. Halimbawa, may bagong partner, nag-agree sila lahat because of director's person, kailangan agreement ng lahat ng partners. May bagong partner na sinali sa partnership, ano magiging liability niya? Liable ba siya sa mga utang ng partnership nung wala pa siya? The answer is yes, pero it is only up to his contribution to the partnership. Kasi yung contribution niya nung pumasok siya na bago sa kalagitnaan ng partnership, nahalo na yun sa ibang properties ng partnership. So that when the partnership will pay now its liabilities, whether noon pa yan na utang, nasali sa pangbayad yung contribution niya. But he cannot be made liable for his personal property regarding liabilities of the partnership na wala pa siya, di pa siya partner. So what are the rights of a partner? The partner has property rights. Number 1, right in specific partnership property. Ano ibig sabihin? Lahat ng partner may right na gumamit ng partnership property. Lahat ng partnership property for the purpose of conducting it, using it in the ordinary course of business. So, lahat sila pwedeng gumamit ng property ng partnership basta for the ordinary course of conducting the business of the partnership. Number 2, interest in the partnership. May right siya over his claim sa partnership kasi nag-contribute siya eh. May right siya eh. Number 3, the right to participate in the management. So, kung partner ka, may right ka to participate naman. Unless nag-agree kayo na meron kayong manager na ibang partner, ibang tao. Without agreement, all of the partners have the right to participate in the management. Ano tong right to specific property? Yung kanina sinabi ko. Co-owner sila lahat sa properties ng partnership. Then they can possess it for partnership purposes. Hindi nila pwede i-assign ang right nila na yon to other persons unless all partners will give consent. And this right is not subject to attachment or execution except for the claim against the partnership. Okay, yung right ng isang person sa property ng partnership cannot be attached or executed by a sheriff except kung ang utang na hinahabol ni sheriff is a claim against the partnership. And then, yung right ng partnership over the property, the right of the partners over the properties of the partnership cannot be used for legal support to the partner's family. Ano itong interest in the partnership? Ito yung partner share in the profits and surplus of the partnership. A conveyance of a partner's interest does not automatically dissolve the partnership. It merely entitles the assignee to receive the profits, and the assigning partners would have been entitled to. The assignee cannot interfere in the management or require information, inspection of books during the continuance of the partnership. Ano ibig sabihin? Yung interest ni partnership na meron siyang claim over the profits na may right siya to receive part of the profits as his share, pwede niya naman i-assign yun sa ibang tao, meaning pwede niya i-transfer sa ibang tao. For example, partner A, may utang kay Mr. F. Sabi niya, yung matatanggap ko, ibigay niyo kay Mr. F pambayad sa utang ko. Pwede naman yun. But si Mr. F, yung nagtanggap nun, is not considered a partner. Is not considered a partner, therefore he cannot interfere in the management of the partnership and he is not entitled to information and inspect the books of the partnership. The interest of a debtor or partner may be charged by a judgment creditor and the receiver for his profits may be appointed. Kung si partner may inutangan na personal na ibang tao and then natalo siya sa kaso, pwede naman habulin ng korte yung kanyang share sa profits para bayaran yung kanyang nautangan na ibang tao. Management right, of course, paulit-ulit, si partner has the right to participate in the management unless nag-agree sila na meron silang manager. Right to reimbursement. The partnership is liable for every partner kung meron siyang nagastos na legit, na legal para sa pagkandak ng partnership official business. Pwede pa reimburse naman yun sa partnership for all the obligations contracted in good faith and in the interest of the partnership, as well as the risk incurred in the consequence of management. Right to formal account. Any partner has the right to formal account of partnership affairs if wrongfully excluded, if provided by agreement in cases of unauthorized profits made by a partner or whenever circumstances render it just and reasonable. Ano ibig sabihin? Okay, any partner, pwede naman sila mag-demand na i-formal account yung partnership affairs kasi lahat naman sila is may right to claim their share in the surplus and profits. So if they are excluded from the sharing, pwede naman nila i-demand na i-account yung partnership affairs. Meaning, ipakita sa kanila kung paano na compute, ipakita kung how was the amount shared, how was it distributed. And because this is the right of every partner, ang tawag sa right na ito is right to the formal account. Paano sinishare ang profits and losses ng partnership? So, number one is, depende sa agreement. The profits and losses of the partnership is determined by partnership agreement. Hati-hati tayo, or 50 sa iyo, 40 sa akin, 10 sa isa. Depende sa agreement. Yun ang number one na rule. Sundin ang partnership agreement kung paano i-share ang profits and losses. Sir, paano kung hindi naman sila nag-agree? Ito yun, ang rules. Number one, if only the share of each partner in the profits has been agreed upon, the share in the losses shall be in the same proportion. Okay? Kung ang naagrihan nila is share in the profits lang, hindi nila naagrihan ang share in the losses, kung paano ang gi-share yung profits, ganun din ang losses. Number two, if there is no stipulation regarding shares, the share of each partner in profits and losses shall be in proportion to what they have contributed. So, hindi sila nag-agree kung paano i-share. It is in accordance with their contribution. So, isi-share nila ang profits and losses in proportion to their contribution. The industrial partner makakatanggap ng profits pero hindi siya kasali sa pag-distribute ng losses. Hindi siya kasali sa losses. Kasi nag-effort na siya as an industrial partner. Remember, the industrial partner contributed his skills, his time, and his expertise to the partnership. Tapos nalugi pa rin. So nasayang yung kanyang effort. Nasayang yung effort niya, hindi na siya kasali sa pag-share sa lugi. Except of course, kung nag-agree naman siya na kasama siya sa distribution ng losses. Pwede ba ibang tao ang mag-determine ng kanilang shares? Pwede naman. If partners agree to entrust the designation of shares to a third person, this designation can be challenged only if it is manifestly inequitable, and the challenge must occur within 3 months of the partner's knowledge of the decision. So kapag nag-decide ang third person kung paano i-distribute, kung equitable naman, okay lang yun. Pero pag inequitable, pwede mo i-question within 3 months from the time that you know of the decision of that third person. But the designation of shares cannot be entrusted to one of the partners only. Pwede i-entrust sa third person pero hindi pwede i-entrust one of the partners only. Dapat kung partners ang mag-decide, sila lahat. Hindi pwede isa lang. Void stipulation. Any stipulation that includes one or more partners from any share in the profits or losses is void. Hindi pwede exclude sa loss or profit ang any partner. Except lang doon sa rule na ang industrial partner is exempted from losses. Unless agreed otherwise. Okay, dissolution and winding up. Paano mag-dissolve ng partnership? Pag sinabing dissolution, it means the change in the relation of partners caused by any partner ceasing to be associated in carrying out the business. This is distinguished from the winding up. Pag sinabi kasing winding up, refers to the continuation of the partnership until the affairs are completed. So, anong kaibahan ng dissolution sa winding up? Sa dissolution class is nagkaroon ng changes in the association of the partners na dissolve. For example, ang partner si A, B, and C. Umalis na si C, si A, B na lang natira, ma-dissolve na yung partnership na A, B, C. mapapalitan ng bagong partnership yung AB. Another example is A, B, C, partner sila. Pumasok si D, nag-agree sila lahat. Madi-dissolve na yung ABC partnership, magiging ABCD na. Yung winding up naman is once na na-dissolve yung partnership at hindi na itutuloy dahil i-stop na, pwede na i-wind up yung affairs. Winding up, ito yung i-continue yung partnership only for the purpose of completing the affairs na matapos mabenta yung mga properties para ma-convert into cash para ma-share na sa lahat. Yun yung winding up. Iba ang ibig sabihin ng dissolution, iba ang ibig sabihin ng winding up. Ano magiging cause ng dissolution? Number 1 is without violation of agreement. Natapos na yung term. Partnership natin, 10 years lang. Tapos na yung 10 years. Eh di, madi-dissolve yung partnership. Or particular undertaking na, natapos yung particular undertaking, madi-dissolve yung partnership unless i-continue natin at will. Or when the partners agree na stop na natin to, ma-dissolve na. Or mag-expel ng isang partner, ma-dissolve yung partnership. In contravention of an agreement, kapag ka may nag-contravene sa agreement na partner, pwede na mag-desisyon ang lahat na i-dissolve na yung partnership. Number 3, operation of law. Ang batas ang nagsabi na dissolve na kayo. When the business becomes unlawful, bawal na. So, dissolve na kayo. Loss of a specific thing contributed, ma-dissolve din by operation of law. Death of a partner, ma-dissolve because sabi ng batas. Insolvency, yung isang partner naging bankrupt, sabi ng batas, dissolve na kayo. If any partner suffers civil interdiction, madi-dissolve din, sabi ng batas. Judicial decree, pwede din court order. A court may dissolve the partnership on a proper case filed for this reason, such as partner insanity, nabuang, incapability, prejudicial conduct, willful breach of agreement, inability to carry on the business except at a loss or other equitable circumstances. So, pwede naman mag-file ng case sa court para i-dissolve yung partnership. So, ito yung causes ng dissolution, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ano magiging effect ng dissolution? If a partnership is dissolved, ito yung effect. It will generally terminate all authority of any partner to act for the partnership except to wind up the affairs or complete unfinished transactions. So, hindi na pwede patuloy except lang to para lang i-wind up ang affairs and tapusin ang mga unfinished transactions. A partner can still bind the partnership after dissolution by acts appropriate for winding up. So, kung kailangan ibenta yung mga properties so that it can be converted to cash, binding pa rin yun. Kasi that is a part of the winding up. Third one, dissolution itself does not discharge existing liability of any partner unless there is an agreement to that effect between the partners, the creditor, and the continuing entity. Kapag na-dissolve yung partner pero tinuloy pa rin, magtuloy din yung liability nila sa mga existing creditors. Winding up and settlement of accounts. So, example, hindi na itutuloy yung partnership, i-wind up na. And then, i-settle yung accounts. I-settle ang accounts, ibig sabihin, i-distribute na yung mga natirang properties and profits. Okay, unless otherwise agreed, the partners who have not wrongfully caused the dissolution of the partnership have the right to wind up the partnership affairs. So, sino mag-wind up? Yung mga partners na hindi guilty. So, in settling accounts for dissolution, after dissolution, the assets of the partnership include the partnership property and the necessary contributions of the partners. Okay, paano magbayad ng utang? I-stop na natin ang partnership. Una, bayaran ang mga utang ng partnership. Sino unang bayaran? Yung mga creditors. Number two, yung mga partners na inutangan ng partnership. Kasi ang partnership pwede naman umutang sa labas, pwede rin umutang sa mga partners. Pero in case of winding up, ang una babayaran is yung creditor sa labas. Number two na lang, second na lang sa priority yung mga partners na inutangan ng partnership. Sino pa? Ibalik yung capital ng mga partners. Pag nabayaran na yung number 1 at saka number 2, number 3, ibalik yung capital ng mga partners. Paano may natira pa, sir? Yung natira is considered profits, tapos i-distribute yun in accordance with their agreement or in accordance with the rule on how profits and losses shall be distributed. So take note of this. This is very important. So partners, pag halimbawa sir, kulang pa ang pambayad, the partners shall contribute the necessary amount to satisfy their liabilities as provided by the rules for the sharing of losses. See, partnership creditors have priority on partnership property and separate creditors have priority on individual property. Okay, sa pag-dissolve ng partnership, mas priority yung creditor ng partnership kaysa doon sa creditor ng individual partners. Kasi yung creditors na separate sa partnership, doon sila sa liable sila sa doon sila magsingil sa individual property ng every partner, not sa partnership. Okay, this time let's discuss this limited partnership. What is a limited partnership? It is formed by two or more persons having at least one general partner and at least one limited partner. Yun ang minimum. Sa limited partnership, at least one ang limited partner, at least one ang general partner. Bahala na yung iba. Okay, pwede naman two general partner, isang limited partner, or one general partner, 10 limited partner, pwede yan. Basta, ang requirement is at least one general partner and one limited partner. So, as a review, yung general partner is, kaya sa tinawag na general partner kasi general yung liability niya. Ibig sabihin, pwede habulin yung kanyang separate property in case kulang ang pambayad sa partnership liabilities. Si limited partner naman, kaya sa limited ang tawag because limited yung liability niya. He is liable only up to the extent of his contribution to the partnership. Okay, kaya sinabi dito, the limited partners shall not be bound by the obligations of the partnership insofar as their separate property is concerned. Paano ma-form ang limited partnership? Ito, those desiring to form a limited partnership must sign and swear to a detailed certificate which must state, among other things, the name of the partnership, tapos lagyan ng word na limited. Si ABC Partnership Limited, example. Okay, indicate din doon ang character of the business. Anong gusto niyang business? Barber shop, mall, buy and sell, hardware, sulat niyo doon. Number 3, the names and residence of all members or all partners. Nakasulat din doon kung sino ang general and sino ang limited. The term of the partnership, if any, the cash, property contributions of limited partners, and the various rights and conditions like admission of new partners or continuation upon death of a general partner, sulat din doon sa certificate na yun. And then yung certificate na yun must be filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Substantial compliance and good faith forms a limited partnership. So kapag hindi na record sa SEC, may partnership pa rin pero hindi limited. General partnership yun. So para limited partnership, it must be recorded with the Securities and Exchange Commission. So, anong specific rules sa limited partners? Contribution nila must be cash or property but not services. So, hindi pwede maging industrial partner ang limited partner. Liability, limited liability lang ng partner is liable only up to his share in the partnership. Name use, a partner's name cannot be used as or cannot be included in the name of the partnership unless yung isang general partner ka-apelyido niya. Kapag kasinali yung apelyido niya sa name ng partnership, then he is not liable as a limited partner anymore. He is liable as a general partner to all the creditors or extended credit without knowledge of his limited status. Right. Si limited partner cannot participate in the management of the partnership. But they have the right to inspect the partnership books, demand full information, receive formal account, and receive the share in the profits. They can also demand judicial dissolution or winding up. But they cannot participate in the management of the business. How about for general partners in a limited partnership? The general partners have all the rights, powers, and restrictions and liabilities of a partner in a general partnership. Pwede natin sabihin sila yung totoong partner na may-ari ng partnership kasi mas marami silang rights kaysa limited partners. However, they require the written consent or ratification of all limited partners to perform acts like contravening the certificate. Pag may babaguhin sa certificate, kailangan pa rin ng consent ng limited partners. Kung merong undertaking that will make it impossible to carry on ordinary business, kailangan ng consent ng limited partners. Confessing judgment sa court, pag aaminin ang liability sa court, kailangan ang consent ng limited partners. And if another person will be admitted as a general partner, kailangan ang consent ng limited partner because of the doctrine of delictus personae. So, paano dinidissolve ang limited partnership? Nagdi-dissolve ang limited partnership if nag-retire, namatay, naging insolvent, naging insane, or nagkaroon ng civil interdiction ang general partner. Unless the business is continued by the remaining general partners under a right stated in the certificate or with the consent of all members. So, paano ma-settle ang accounts ng ng limited partnership? Ganito ang order of priority. Number 1, bayaran mo na yung creditors ng partnership. Sunod, bayaran si limited partners for profits and income. Sunod, si limited partners ibalik ang kanilang capital bago pa si general partner. Number 4 na lang siya. Unahin talaga sa distribution si limited partner. Unahin din isauli yung capital and contribution ni limited partner. Yung natira si general partner na ang mag-distribute sa mga general partners. Okay. So, unahin lagi ang limited partners. That ends the discussion on the loan partnership. That is very short because it's been simplified for accountancy students. Thank you.